Hi, I'm David. Welcome to the channel. In this video, we're going to go through my first ever walkthrough of Kerbal Space Program 2. Very excited, waiting a long time for this. So let's go ahead and get started. As you can see, brand new campaign. I love white and blue, so let's just go ahead and change our agency flag colors to white and blue. Just gonna leave the flag the same. We'll just leave normal difficulty for now. You could change the agency name and flag if you want to. I'm not going to do that. Let's just name a new campaign name. Just call it new. All right, let's start. All right, so this is kind of a picture of the Space Center and what you can expect to see. It looks like there's a video that starts. I'll let this play and let you watch.
Your new space program, leaping forward into the cosmos. Since the dawn of Kerbal kind, we have looked to the sky and wondered what sublime mysteries lie hidden in the darkness, like jewels never beheld. These untold treasures may soon reveal themselves due to the efforts recently founded Kerbal Space Program.
Oh my! I think that might have been the only copy of the orientation film. Hold on! Slides, somewhere. Welcome to your first day running the Kerbal Space Program. This campus hosts the greatest ever gathering of astronomers, astronauts, and engineers. After years of focused effort, this collection of geniuses has created several very impressive buildings. We believe we have all the necessary pieces to take our first steps off the ground. The best way to advance our technologies further is to get up there and learn by doing. All we need now is somebody to show us how to put all these parts together. Well, we also need somebody to help us out with the flying. We need a lot of help, actually. That's why you're here. My name is Paige, by the way. If you need any hints, feel free to visit me over at the training center. Everything in there is well padded, so it's a great place to get up and running. Welcome aboard!
Yeah, kind of strange. It seems the video just seems to reset, so we'll go ahead and exit that. Some helpful tips along the way. Just gonna click through that. So there's several things to see here. There's the launch pad, which is on the middle lower part of the screen. We have the tracking station over there. Launch pad, as you can see right there. But we're going to go to the training center. All right, so we're going to start with the very first training session, which is Space is the Place. How do rockets work? So I'm going to let this play because it gives a pretty good description.
Space is the place. So you want to get to space. Have you tried rockets? Rockets use fuel and engines to create thrust, which propels them forward. When a fuel tank is empty, it is dropped to stay as lightweight as possible, allowing the rocket to go even faster. These tanks, as well as other expendable parts of a rocket, are called stages. Different stages do different things. Often the first stage is very powerful, with just enough fuel to get the vehicle through the atmosphere. The second stage usually has a low-thrust engine that, while not as powerful, is more fuel efficient. After dropping the heavier first stage and leaving the atmosphere, the second stage engine pushes the much lighter second stage to orbital speed. On a flight to space, the final stage parachutes back down to the surface, ideally in one piece.
All right, so we walked through how a rocket works. So now we'll do it in practice. We're going to go to the vehicle assembly building. When you first enter the vehicle assembly for the first time, it has all these helpful hints on things that will be helpful in launching a rocket, but I'm well acquainted with these hints from KSP1, so let's skip through that. It is nice to have a favorite section on favorite parts. That makes it pretty convenient for the parts that you pick all the time. Most essential though, you need that central command module to house your Kerbin. Need a fuel tank. You also need that second stage booster, which you added there. Need a decoupler, so we can break off in the first stage. Forgot that. Be able to separate it when you're coming back in re-entry, so I added that third stage decoupler there. But now we need to create our first stage, so we added one larger fuel tank, a little bit too big for just getting to orbit, so I added kind of a medium-sized one. And our primary booster, there we go. So we have all the primary parts we need. Just looking at these stages that we have here. And we're looking good on stages. We do still need a parachute for that third stage. Gonna add that there. Great. We have all the components that we need. So let's go ahead and launch. All right, here we are. We're on the stage. There's a nice little countdown that I do now. That's pretty fun. We start shooting sparks. Click through some of these tips that they have. There we go. So far, the game looks pretty good. Some good lighting effects. Some good fluid dynamic effects with that thrust going on. Taking a quick look around. I do have this in low settings, only have a 1080. So I can't quite, not quite in the 490 territory. I can't do max. This is at 4K though, so it is still pushing my system. Weird effect I notice. When you look up and you don't look at the ground, the frame rates go way up. And everything is much smoother. But the second you look back down to the ground, everything slows way down, frame rates wise. Starting that tip over. We're about 8,000 meters now. I want to make sure that we are continuing to gain on that horizontal velocity at 500 meters per second. Zoom out to the bigger picture. I call it the map view. The tips stay there even when you leave the map view. Just click through that. Gaining that vertical and horizontal velocity, very critical for getting into orbit. Looking like 45 kilometers at the apogee, 50 kilometers at apogee now. Still on a parabolic orbit though. Oh, and that's it for our first stage. Separate that. It's kind of a fun sequence they do there. A little bit of sound effects and music. Now I'm not near my apogee yet, so I'm gonna slow it down a little bit. Still have a ways to go. If I burn too much too soon, I'm just gonna continue to push out my apogee, which is plenty, or apoapsis as they call it. I'm gonna wait a little bit. Already at 80, I only need about 70. I do like how a lot of this is very similar to KSP1. The distance that the atmosphere starts, a lot of the mechanics. Kerbin's the same. somewhat of a interesting glitch right now. It's not doing thrust because it says that it's paused, but it's not paused. Oh well, we got it going now. We're good. Continuing to get a horizontal velocity in, continuing to grow. Just let you admire that Kerbin real quick. It's just really nice. It looks this good without any mods or anything. This is still beta, and some people think alpha, but it is a bit slow. I definitely think it could be optimized. There's some work they could do in increasing performance, certainly. So far, still, I think it looks pretty good. I think it looks pretty good so far. Yeah, this is the second time I've had to. I keep fussing with the pausing and unpausing. I don't quite go down to the part where it's paused, but it's acting like it's paused. So it's saying it's paused, but I didn't go all the way down to pause. So now it's really paused. I had to click pause like 5 times to get it to really pause, and then I unpaused it out of that state, and now it works again. If anybody knows how to make recommendations to the developer, let me know. Almost to apoapsis or apogee. Still on a parabolic orbit though. Oh. We do have a periapsis, which is nice, but it's not quite above 70, so I wouldn't say it's fully orbiting yet. Alright, we're in orbit now. Great. Not quite the most efficient orbit. A little bit eccentric. That's okay. It's a first go. Okay, since we're in orbit now, I'll do a quick walkthrough of the different angles and what they mean. So there's prograde, which is generally in the direction of travel. Click retrograde here. That's basically pointing the thing in the opposite direction of travel that you're going in. There's normal, which is generally just pointing up north, North Pole. Anti-normal, which is basically pointing south or to the South Pole. And then there's radial in, and that's pointing in towards the body that you're orbiting. And radial out, it's pointing away or radially out from the body that you're orbiting. In this case, Kerbin. I do think the details look pretty good. You can see the detail on that landmass down there. That is pretty nice. For the sake of the rest of the time that we're in orbit, we're only interested in going in retrograde because we need to eventually slow down. So I'll just put in retrograde for now. But now that we're up here, we can just go ahead and play around. So it's a nice Milky Way kind of look there to the greater galaxy. Practice a little EVA. All right, that's good. We're back in. I don't know how he fits in that such a little container. His head is huge. But time to go back home. So let's get in a good spot where we can do a retrograde burn. And a retrograde burn should decrease the horizontal velocity enough where we can kill our orbit and start falling back down instead of just constantly missing the planet, which is what happens in orbit. Alright, so we're starting our burn, coming back down. Shooting for that peninsula to the east of the spaceport. Yeah, that's a good spot. I think that'll end up in a good spot near the spaceport. Well, now that that's done, we don't really need our second stage anymore. We need to fix the sequence real quick, though. Pull that down. All right. Decoupler and then parachute. All right. So we're decoupled from our second stage. Looking good. I do love the lighting effects of that sun. That is really nice. Making sure that we're retrograde. I'm going to speed things up a little bit. This process does take a while sometimes. Just admire the view. You can see some of those nebulas out there. Kind of purple and green. Looking back to Kerbin. Over the forest. Then we'll head over the desert. One thing I'm looking forward to that it appears I don't have is I don't have any thermal friction effects yet. You just slow down, that's all you do. So you can see the orbit decreasing. So it's experiencing some aerodynamic friction, which is slowing the spacecraft down even more. As you can see there, getting closer and closer to the spaceport. Maybe even more than I expected. Probably gonna get a little bit short of the space facility. That's all right. We're close enough. It's not a campaign or anything, so don't need to worry about money. That's not out yet. We're still in the very first edition of this game, so we can land anywhere and it's fine. Heading over the desert and then over this small bay. Looks like we'll miss that continent that the space facility's on altogether. That's all right. Definitely some massive thermal buildup going on, but they haven't quite worked that through yet. So that's fine. We'll just be totally safe then. Like, we don't even have a heat shield or anything, but doesn't seem to affect us at all, so that's fine. They have a little bit of sound, which seems to suggest that there's some aerodynamic friction going on, but definitely don't see anything. In the interest of time, just speeding up a little bit. Chute doesn't deploy until about 1,000 meters, so. At this point, the parachute, when it's deployed but not quite extended, it does this funky wobbling. It looks good once it's fully deployed. It does very realistic motions. I don't know. I've never came down from space, so maybe that is how it looks. All I know is with it fully deployed, that looks good once it's fully extended. Alright, we're on the ground. We had our first landing. Great. Well, let's have a little bit of a look around. Now they're in this sandy desert. A little EVA. It does give this notification that you're about to crash just by going EVA. But if you're clearly just on the ground, I don't think that's an issue. Again, only with my 1080 only, GTX 1080 that is, graphics card, it's really demanding when you're on the ground in this game, but so it's a little bit choppy there. Also in this game, when you're on the ground, you have to go to menu if you want to recover the vessel. In KSP 1, it would just automatically give you that option. That would be nice instead of having to go into a menu. It doesn't quite feel like that's what you're supposed to be doing. But so that's our first walkthrough. I hope you like what you saw, and I hope to see you again soon on another KSP video. If you like what you saw, please like and subscribe. Thanks. Fly safe.